In the last 3 years, I've been on one of the UK's best degree apprenticeship schemes, and today I'm sharing it all. What does a week in my life actually look like? Is it better than university? And what is my yearly salary? You're gonna hear it all. Yes, everyone, I hope we're all feeling healthy. My name is Ben, training to become an assistant site manager working on a £22 million construction project based in the UK. A little bit later in this video, I'm gonna give you 3 things every company looks for in a degree apprenticeship application. And the one thing that completely ruins your chances, you're gonna wanna hear it. But before I get into that, let me show you what a week in my life actually looks like. To give some backstory, a degree apprenticeship is a place where you can work, earn, and learn all at the same time. It includes 4 days a week of working and 1 day a week going to uni, which is covered by the company. By the end of this video, you will exactly understand what happens in a trainee scheme and whether it's right for you. Let's get right into it. Everyone seems to be out on site, so I'm gonna make myself a quick coffee. I want to look at some drawings first thing this morning. We need to order some temporary scaffolding to site. So I'm going to have a look, see how much we need, get that ordered. So let's get on with it. I hear a lot of people talk about how as a trainee you get given boring work, and sometimes you do get given the boring work, but also you do get work that is quite meaningful because you know you're making a difference and you're helping the people around you. Currently, I'm training to become a site manager, so a lot of my time is spent talking to other operatives on site, whether they're the roofers or ground workers or electricians, printing out drawings and looking at programs. Over the past 3 years, one of the biggest benefits for me has been having the exposure of being on site, talking to new people every day, talking to clients of £22 million projects, and then talking to ground workers. Having that exposure, meeting all these different types of characters and people has really helped me develop and grow as a person. So in around an hour's time, I've got a thing called a pre-let. So before a supply chain partner works on this construction site, we have to have a pre-let, which is basically a meeting to talk about the contract of works, how long are they going to be on site for, how many guys are they going to send to site every single day of the week. So I've got a meeting today in around an hour, which I'm looking forward to. Is going to be the first one for me on my commercial placement, which is another thing that we need to talk about is placement, because as a company, this construction company I work for, they want you to go on placements on all departments of the business. So as well as getting paid, you're learning how this business, how this company runs day by day, which is awesome. Currently, throughout the 4 years of my trainee scheme, I get to go on placements to each department of the company. Whether that's spending time with the health and safety team or spending time with quantity surveyors or design managers, you get to experience a wide range of different roles within the company, which is awesome. Currently, I'm training to become a site manager, but I'm on placement at the moment with the quantity surveyors. So my day is finding a balance between being on placement and learning stuff with the quantity surveyors, but also spending time on site doing my assistant management role. Now, in a few minutes time, I'm going to give you pretty classified information on what you should avoid to almost guarantee you a place in any trainee graduate scheme. You're going to want to hear it. And if you are finding this video useful, please consider subscribing, because it helps me more than you can even imagine. And the bigger the channel gets, the more I'm able to help you guys. Thank you. So I just done a pre-let, which is basically meeting with a supply chain partner that's going to start doing works in the next few weeks. So we've got the landscapers coming down to do certain works, which is quite cool on all of the gardens. So I had a meeting with them. Now I'm going to go on site. Well, I'm on site now, taking pictures of the works, keeping track of progress made on site, and to see basically who's on site and who isn't on site. So the ground workers are just down there with the steel fixers and scaffolders. So I'm going to go down and see them now and see what they're up to. I'm going to tell you absolutely everything you need to know about my salary and uni fees, but before I do, I wanted to touch on some of the more challenging and difficult sides of a degree apprenticeship scheme, because it isn't always easy. If I'm just going to be completely honest, one of the biggest challenges that I've faced is loneliness, because, you know, in school I had my mates around me, in college I had people around me that were similar ages and I could just relate and get along with them, but in work I'm around 35, 40-year-olds that have been in the company for like 25 years. And there's just like an age gap and a maturity gap, and you can't relate to, you know, your colleagues on the same level. And it was really hard for me to adapt working on site without really having that friendship and that community that I did have in college and school. I did really struggle with that, and I imagine in university you would have that, you know, that relationship with your boys and the people around you, but you don't really have that in, well, I really struggled with that at the start when I joined this company. And also, you are kind of thrown right into the deep end, you know. One minute I was in college working on assignments that I had to hand in, and the next minute I'm one of 5 managers working on a £22 million construction site. Like, that's a pretty big step. So for me, it was hard to just adjust and get used to that, you know. It can be very intense, it can be very stressful. One of the things I have to do as a trainee is presentations, and as an introvert, that scares the hell out of me. So it was really hard for me to do these presentations, go into work in a new environment, quite an intense, a quite stressful environment, you know, having stuff that I needed to do to help the guys on site, and really struggling to do that, not really understanding my role, just feeling confused and lost. It's hard being a trainee. It can be very hard. And I've had, you know, a few conversations with my parents about me wanting to leave and what would the consequences be if I did leave and what I would have to do. And, you know, fortunately, I didn't end up ever coming to that conclusion. And I'm really glad I didn't, because I'm in a place now where I really enjoy work and I enjoy going into site every day. But it wasn't always the case. And I think that's the point I want to get across. Like, you're going to have challenges, you're going to have struggles, you are going to find it uncomfortable and confusing and hard, and that is part of the journey, and that's okay. Honestly, in this line of work, you don't really find time to have a break, but I did have a few minutes to eat my food in silence, which was pretty nice, and it fueled me up all ready to get back on site. Currently, I'm in my final year of the trainee scheme, but as a breakdown of the trainee wages from a first year, no matter what discipline whether you're in, whether you're looking at production or you're with the quantity surveyors or even a design manager, you'll be paid 25 grand in your first year. For your second year, you'll be on 26.5 grand. On your third year, you'll be on 29.5 grand, and then in your fourth year, you'll be on 31.5 grand. Now, this is really good wage and something that can vary from job to job, but it's currently what the pay is for the company I work for, which is pretty sick, to be honest. And also what I find is, as well as having like a lot of responsibility throughout my day, I obviously there's pay that's involved as well, but I'm also grateful that they cover the cost of uni, which would be like a massive thing. Well, it's a massive thing for everyone going to uni, like the prices of it, but to be able to learn about doing a specific role and then having the guarantee that that role is gonna, like, it will become my future job after I finish my trainee scheme. Also getting paid, also going to uni that gets paid for, also having traveling costs to cover the cost of driving an hour to work and back every day. When you start adding up all of these positive things, it's like I am in a really fortunate and really lucky position, and I'm grateful to be able to say that. And I wanted to make this video to make people more aware of how great a trainee program actually is. At this time, it's currently 4:30 in the afternoon, which ends a 9-hour shift in work. So typically, my schedule is a 4-day week plus 1 day in uni, which varies, but this year it's on a Thursday. However, tomorrow I have got a factory visit with all the other trainees. So part of the trainee scheme is going to a factory or a construction site every 1 to 2 months to improve your knowledge within the industry. So that's what I done. I went to see a £60 million college being built. It was really good to see and understand how it was being managed. Then the day after that, I was in uni, which, to be honest, was a bit of a drag, but also it was quite fun. And finally, the moment all of you have been waiting for, here are the 3 main things that you should add in all applications and the one thing you should completely avoid. let's get into it. So starting off with the thing that we should do, what I recommend after speaking to operation managers and directors and even being part of the interview process myself and seeing trainees apply to work for this company, what I have seen is work experience goes a long way. Saying that you've got work experience for that company that you're applying for, or just a company in that industry, is something that goes a really long way, because it shows more than university, you have a complete understanding of what you're getting yourself into. I done a year of work experience, not being paid before applying, and I think that was a massive factor towards me being enrolled into the company. So the first thing is work experience. The second thing is demonstrating you have a good work ethic. You know, are you doing part-time jobs? Have you got a big CV? Are you doing extracurricular activities? People look for these things. They pay attention to these things. You become an interesting person when you have an interest. So have interests. Help society in some way. Show that you're active in life. And I think that is a key marker that shows who is driven and who is like forward thinking, and also who isn't. And then my final third tip that I've gathered from other people and from my own experience is to show that you've got good social skills and communication. When you're in your interview, make sure you smile, make sure you have manners, make sure you really be present in the moment. And I think that goes a long way. When you leave and when you finish an interview, the person remembers the feeling that you gave them. If they had a feeling of, oh, I don't know about that guy, he's going to remember that feeling. But if you ended the conversation and you were like, I'm really grateful for the opportunity, I'm grateful for the call, I'm grateful for the interview, you give off this energy that's contagious. They're going to catch that, and they're going to feel like you are so appreciative of having the interview that they want you to work for your company more, because you almost value it. You appear to value it much more than other candidates. So those are the three main things that I suggest that have really helped me get into this trainee degree apprenticeship program, and I helped others get into the trainee degree apprenticeship program. But the one thing that you should avoid is only applying to one company in that industry. If you're looking to get an apprenticeship degree program, don't apply to only one company. Apply to lots. Apply to their competitors. Apply to people in that industry to show that you want it. You're not just applying to the company because of their good trainee scheme, or because they're the best construction company, or they're the best apprenticeship degree company. You want to apply to them because you're interested in the industry, and you want to prove that by applying to all the other companies within that industry. So for me, it'd be other competitors of the company I work for, if that makes sense. So yeah, that is my video. That is everything wrapped that you need to know about degree apprenticeships before you apply. If you have any questions below, please ask them, and I'm more than happy to respond to you. If you did enjoy, if you found this video valuable, please subscribe, because it helps me more than you can even imagine, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.